Can Nigerians criticize their country abroad without damaging Nigeria's image? Or has political criticism crossed a line? A fresh controversy is unfolding after the presidency accused some Nigerians living in the diaspora of demarketing Nigeria, raising questions about how the country is portrayed before the international community. The issue is particularly sensitive because Nigerians abroad play an important role in promoting the country's interests, attracting investment, and contributing to the economy through remittances. But where should the line be drawn between legitimate criticism and damaging Nigeria's international image? Welcome to our news update. The presidency has raised concerns over what it describes as efforts by some Nigerians in the diaspora to portray Nigeria negatively before the international community. The allegation has renewed an old and often heated debate in Nigeria. Should citizens be encouraged to defend the country's image abroad, or should they be free to openly highlight problems affecting Nigerians? The controversy was featured in a recent Africa Independent Television (AIT) report, which highlighted the presidency's position on the issue.
As our democracy enters another season of political contest, we must remember that campaigns are seasonal, but citizenship is permanent. Elections will produce winners and losers. Nigeria must always win. Political parties may oppose one another, and citizens may disagree profoundly with the government. That is democracy. But political activity must never become a permanent veto on governance or an excuse to work against the country itself. No disappointment with an administration, no loyalty to a political figure, and no partisan ambition justifies lending one's name, platform, network, or resources to those who project instability, economic sabotage, or the deliberate impoverishment of the Nigerian people. Chaos has no partisan address, and its first victims are always people with low incomes. You do not have to agree with every policy to defend it. Nigeria's peace, institutions, and economic future is just too important. You may oppose a government. You must never wish the country to fail merely to prove your political rights. I have had the privilege of serving President Tinubu at close quarters. I have seen a leader prepared to spend political capital to rebuild Nigeria's economic capital. A president willing to absorb criticism for decisions he believes future generations will vindicate. And a man who does not claim infallibility, but accepts responsibility. He listens, he adjusts where evidence requires it, but he will not surrender Nigeria's future to the politics of postponement. The choice between Nigeria is not between reform and an imaginary world without hardship. It is between completing a difficult recovery and returning to arrangements whose comfort was purchased by hidden costs, weak production, and dwindling national capacity. President Tinubu's argument is not that all is well. He argues that the foundations is being prepared, the economy is responding, and the work must be consolidated until ordinary Nigerians feel the full benefit. That is the partnership he asks of you. Let this conference not be measured only by speeches, applause, or a final communique. Let it be measured by commitments. One enterprise funded, one institution.
The argument over demarketing Nigeria is not entirely new. For years, government officials and other public figures have expressed concern that negative portrayals of Nigeria abroad could discourage investors, tourists, and international partners. The concern is particularly significant at a time when Nigeria is seeking to attract foreign investment and improve its international economic standing. Nigeria's diaspora community also represents an important part of the country's economic and social network. Nigerians living abroad send substantial remittances home, maintain businesses and professional relationships in Nigeria, and in many cases promote Nigerian culture internationally. However, critics of the demarketing argument say that acknowledging problems facing the country should not automatically be interpreted as an attack on Nigeria. They argue that Nigerians abroad should be able to discuss issues such as insecurity, unemployment, infrastructure, governance, and the cost of living without being labeled unpatriotic. A similar debate has occurred repeatedly over the years. In 2023, for example, a dispute involving former Nigerians in Diaspora Commission Chairman Abike Dabiri Arua and an Arise TV presenter included accusations concerning the portrayal of Nigeria and Nigerians internationally. The debate therefore raises a larger question about Nigeria's national image. Can a country build a stronger international reputation by encouraging positive stories while still allowing citizens to openly discuss its shortcomings? Communication experts have argued that the two objectives do not necessarily have to conflict. A country can acknowledge genuine challenges while simultaneously highlighting its achievements, opportunities, culture, and economic potential. Indeed, Nigeria has frequently encouraged members of its diaspora to contribute to national development through investment, expertise, entrepreneurship, and advocacy. At the same time, Nigerians living abroad often have first-hand experience of how Nigeria is perceived internationally. Their perspectives can therefore influence how foreign audiences understand the country. The controversy also comes as Nigerian political competition increasingly extends beyond the country's borders. Ahead of the 2027 election, Nigerian political groups and competing interests are increasingly engaging international audiences and the diaspora. A recent analysis by Vanguard described this as part of a broader contest over Nigeria's international narrative, with political actors seeking to influence how the country is viewed abroad. That makes the issue of Nigeria's international image even more politically sensitive. Supporters of the presidency are likely to argue that Nigerians have a responsibility to protect their country's reputation. Critics, however, are likely to maintain that patriotism should not mean silence in the face of genuine national problems. Ultimately, the challenge may be finding a balance between patriotism and accountability. Nigeria needs a positive international image to attract investment, tourism, and partnerships. But credibility also depends on the willingness to acknowledge problems and demonstrate that the country is working to solve them. We will continue to follow the story and bring you verified developments. Subscribe for more Nigerian breaking news, politics, governance, business, and current affairs.